I f***ed up. So the other day I was in Manhattan with the Tahoe, like I always am. Usually I park on the street. So as I was coming in, I'm coming up a one-way street, I noticed there was a space open. So finding a space in Manhattan is basically saving you a good amount of money, especially if you're staying overnight. So I saw this spot, jumped on it as quick as I could. Unfortunately, I just passed the street, came to a stop in Tahiti, threw it in reverse to just kind of back up that street and grab the spot. As I did this, I kind of didn't wait long enough to give the transmission time to just kind of drop into reverse. I kind of did like a Jason Statham transporter move, threw it in reverse, gave it gas without thinking. And when that happened, yeah, basically it didn't like it. There was a loud metallic clunk and it did not move in reverse. So my initial reaction was obviously that's not good. And I threw it in park thinking maybe that'll, reset something, pretty much just desperately hoping everything was going to be all right. But unfortunately, the damage was already done. I'll show you guys exactly what's going on here. But pretty much by dropping it into reverse, not giving it a second to kick into reverse, and like I said, this happened so quickly. And I've done this before, also accidentally, but it didn't actually cause damage. But after it happened, I was like, oh shit, I gotta make sure I don't do that ever again. I did it again. But basically what happened, I put it in reverse, and before it even had time to, drop in, I basically did one of these and then gassed it. And now I have no reverse. See, we're in reverse there. We don't go anywhere. Drive works, but I don't have second gear and I don't have fourth gear. So I was able to drive it home about 25 miles, and there were no weird noises. It would just kind of slip and immediately skip past second gear and go to third, and then it just wouldn't go into fourth. And the gearing is actually pretty good on these things, so I was able to drive it home at like 55 on the highway, and the RPMs were only around like 2,500. So I had no problem bringing it home, but yeah, reverse is gone, second gear is gone, fourth gear is gone, and I'm 99% sure I sheared the teeth off of the sun shell. But just at idle, you could kind of hear a little bit of a metallic kind of whiny noise. Now I took a look at the fluid. Fluid looks absolutely fine, even with driving it home with the damage. It's not burnt. It looks perfectly clean. Doesn't smell weird. This thing almost hit 220,000 miles on what I believe is the original transmission. I don't have any evidence or, reason to believe it was swapped out aside from the transmission being notoriously shitty. And to hit 220,000 miles is kind of a milestone. But I've heard of people hitting that with the stock transmissions. So, this being the original is definitely not out of the question. But my plan for attack with this is just going to be to rebuild the transmission that's in here. I was throwing up in the air the idea of doing a 4L80 swap. I need this thing. I drive it every day. And the cheapest, easiest way to get this thing running is just to fix what's in there. I did contemplate going to a salvage yard, grabbing another one. Around here, you're going to pay about $500 to $600 for a junkyard 4L60 with at least around 100,000, usually 120 to 150. And to do all that work and pay, $600 to potentially have a dud transmission right off the bat or have the same thing happen again, it just isn't worth it to me, especially since this transmission ran so well, but this truck was also extremely well maintained. I don't know the history of those junkyard transmissions, and the track record these have. I just rather either get a rebuilt one or just do it myself. As I mentioned, the whole reason I'm not doing the 4L80, there's just so much fabrication you have to do. It's not just a drop in one day thing and you're back on the road. You have to shorten the drive shaft. You have to either lengthen or replace the front 4x4 drive shaft. You have to modify the cross member. You have to repin the PCM for a few wires. You have to flash it. So it's not, you know, a one day thing where you just throw it in and you're ready to go. Plus, that's going to cost more money than just rebuilding it. I actually was able to get a heavy duty rebuild kit with the upgraded sun shell for like $300. As for what's next, next video, we're going to have this thing on jack stands, pulling the trans out. I'm doing it here in the driveway just because the ceiling height in the garage doesn't really let me bring this thing up too high. And it's just going to be easier working here. There's a lot more space around me. I'm going to have to grab a lot of tools from the garage, but I could definitely get it done in the driveway. We're probably going to drop it down in the next video. Get the thing out of the car. I also picked up a case saver for the transfer case to fix the pump rub problem. Anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, you'll see once I actually get the transfer case and the transmission out of the car. But yeah, next video, we'll pull the trans out. Probably the video after that, we'll take the transmission down to the garage. We'll break it down. Possibly do the breakdown and rebuild in the video after that. And then on the third video, I'm hoping we'll have this thing back in and going. And man, it sucks because this thing was doing so well. I was actually getting ready to make a 10,000 mile update video on it. And the shitty thing is the transmission probably would have been fine if I didn't make that mistake, because there's no, you know, there were no hard shifting issues, no slipping, no weird noises, nothing at all. If I just waited the second and a half for the thing to pop into reverse, it probably would have been all right. Granted, you shouldn't have that problem with your car or truck or SUV or anything. You should be able to just kind of make that mistake once in a while and not have the thing just instantly grenade. So the 4L60 isn't totally not at fault, but definitely if I was a little easy on it, it would probably be still running fine. I apologize if this video is a little bit boring, but I did want to give you guys an update and tell you what's going on in this thing, what the plan of attack is to fix it. And like I said, there's going to be more videos coming on this thing. I know you guys love the Tahoe, so in a way, it sucks the thing broke, but we'll be able to pull the transmission apart, break into it, show you guys exactly what failed and why these transmissions are kind of notoriously junk. But I think I'm going to end this one here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will for sure see you in a few days.